Are you currently in a place where there is nothing to live for? Do you feel stuck, unsettled, and unhappy about your life? Have you lost all sense of purpose and motivation to live? Well, Miles Monroe once said, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose. Call me the Purpose Doctor. My name is Olugbenga-wyse. Join me on The Boardroom Convo, a personal development program on radio centered on giving you a sense of purpose, hope, and clarity. The Boardroom Convo airs every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. and will be streamed on Instagram Live with amazing thought leaders and industry experts as we discuss personal development, new emerging career paths, becoming a marketable employee, hot skills in demand, job vacancies, business startups, book reviews, and more. Remember, purpose is the why that answers every other why. Let's get purpose-driven again and let's talk career, life, and business. The Boardroom Convo. Who's coming on board?
Alright, it's still Top Radio 90.9 and yes, another beautiful evening to you out there, Lagos. Trust you're having fun. Trust everything working, all right for you. It's 11 minutes gone past the hour of 7. Yes, we know, but of course we had to ensure we're trying to get things well sorted, for us to go very much live on Instagram too as well for the Boardroom Convo. So you all are welcome on board. Of course, my name is Wise. Ayobami Olugbenga-wyse. And yes, of course, they call me the Purpose Doctor. And for those of you who do not know, basically I work with savvy young professionals to ensure they know what they should be doing with their lives. And the Boardroom Convo has been set up, right here on the radio and live on Instagram to help, with everyone particularly, to become, purpose-driven all over again. It's so important, guys. You can't give up on life. You can't give up on, your dreams, your aspirations. And that's why we bring in thought leaders, experts, week in, week out, to see how we can be challenged, to just say, you know what, you can go for it. You can dance again, just like Sigag Lorena said, this beautiful song that has just opened up the show for us right here. Well, today promises to be another amazing one. And I have someone very special joining us for the convo in a bit, guys. They'll be joining us in another, say, 10-15 minutes away from now. And, of course, we will definitely be talking about many, many interesting things right here. All right, so it's the Boardroom Convo right here live on Top Radio 90.9. You can also join me live on IG, so as well as, of course, we're getting ready to get this rolling.
Got the eyes of an angel. You smile brighter than the sun. But now I don't see those bright eyes. Seems like the sun will shine again.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, you can hear me, right? And of course, we can see you all joining live right here on Instagram as well. All right, so you could give a big shout out to everyone live on Instagram. And of course, not to worry, guys. We're getting this started any moment from now. It's all about how to learn, the rudiments of writing and speaking well. As corporates, as professionals, as career professionals, you need to learn how to write and speak well. And I'll tell you exactly, the offshoot of where this is coming from. I'm going to play you an audio right now in a bit, and just to prepare our minds, this is an audio by Jordan Peterson, okay? He's an amazing, lecturer, and he said some powerful words in what I'm about to play for you. And it's on this basis that I've also brought, the guest that we'll be spending time with today. Okay, so get a listen to this and we'll be right back in a bit, Lagos. It's the Boardroom Convo right here on Top Radio 90.9. We'll be right back.
The Boardroom Convo. Who's coming on board?
The best way to teach people critical thinking is to teach them to write. And I made this little thing that I put online, this guide to writing, and it steps people through the process of writing. Because what's happened now, it's very hard to teach people to write because it's unbelievably time intensive. And like marking a good essay, that's really easy. Check A. You did everything right. Marking a bad essay? Oh my God. The words are wrong, the phrases are wrong, the sentences are wrong, they're not ordered right in the paragraphs aren't coherent, and the whole thing makes no sense. So, trying to tell the person what they did wrong, it's like, well, you did everything wrong. Everything about this essay is wrong. Well, that's not helpful either. You have to find the few little things they did half right, and you have to teach them what they did wrong. It's really expensive. And so what I did with this rubric was try to address that from the production side instead of the grading side. But the best thing you can do is teach people to write, because there's no difference between that and thinking. And one of the things that just blows me away about universities is that no one ever tells students why they should write something. It's like, well, you have to do this assignment. Well, why are you writing? Well, you need the grade. It's like, no, you need to learn to think, because thinking makes you act effectively in the world. Thinking makes you win the battles you undertake, and those could be battles for good things. If you can think and speak and write, you are absolutely deadly. Nothing can get in your way. So that's why you learn to write. It's like, and I can't believe that people aren't just told that. It's like, it's the most powerful weapon you can possibly provide someone with. And I mean, I know lots of people who've been staggeringly successful and watched them throughout my life. I mean, those people, you don't want to have an argument with them. They'll just slash you into pieces. And not in a malevolent way. It's like, if you're going to make your point and they're going to make their point, you better have your points organized, because otherwise you're going to look like and be an absolute idiot. You are not going to get anywhere. And if you can formulate your arguments coherently and make a presentation, if you can speak to people, if you can lay out a proposal, God, people give you money, they give you opportunities, you have influence. That's what you're at university for. Teach people to be articulate, because that's the most dangerous thing you can possibly be. So, and that's motivating if people know that. It's like, well, why are you learning to write? Because here's your sword, here's your M16, right? Here's your bulletproof vest. Like, you learn how to use them. But it's an endless mystery to me why that isn't made self-evident. It's like there's a conspiracy to bring people into the education system to make them weaker. I guess that keeps the competition down. Maybe that's one way of thinking about it. If your students are stupid, they're not going to challenge you.
The Boardroom Combo. Who's coming on board?
Yes, we're back, Lagos, and I'm sure you heard everything, absolutely everything that Jordan Peterson just said, right? You heard it. I mean, the ability to think is one of your most powerful, resource that you can actually, invest in. And ability to think, starts on the premise of knowing how to write as well. And of course, knowing exactly how to speak. So there is definitely the right way, to write, and there's definitely the right way to speak. You're able to write and speak well. Trust me, guys, you've got an amazing arsenal, within you, within your custody, to make you stronger, better, bigger, wiser, sharper, in every field you find yourself. Now, a lot of people always think that, my kind of job doesn't, entail that, I do a lot of writing. My job doesn't entail me doing a lot of, speaking. And I'm like, wow, you don't even know, guys. You don't really know. It's not about the kind of job you do. It's about how much it makes you. How it positions you, particularly. You need to definitely, write a proposal someday. You definitely need to actually have to make a speech someday. Sometimes it comes impromptu, as well. So you need to prepare yourself. The ability, and people say a lot of things, making excuses for themselves and saying, I don't know how to speak, I don't know how to write, and then they just let it die. They just let it lie. They don't even make any, move just to correct that. And I'm like, so, how will that even make you better? First you say your job doesn't need it, then you say you need it, but you don't do anything about it. Guys, come on, wake up. You need it. And we need to start developing a culture that, irrespective of the kind of job that you do, whether you're a programmer, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a marketer, whether you're into events planning and all, you need to have your arsenals right. The power of communication is expressed in your ability to speak and your ability to write. The power of communication is expressed in your ability to speak and your ability to write. It's so important. And back in school, like just Jordan Peterson just said, back in school we were always given assignments to write things, write an essay. So even my daughter still brings back, homework and says, we're asked to write this essay and two and all of that. But guess what? Nobody tells us why we're writing those essays. People just tell us that just go write it up, People talk about writing blogs, people talk about writing things, but nobody tells you what it does to you, what it does for you. Because when you build and develop the art of writing, of speaking, trust me, people will stand to listen to you. People will give you audience. People will give you a minute or two because they just want to hear you talk. All right? I know I've transited, various stages and phases of my life where, even I want to even listen to myself speak. And that tells you a whole lot because you can get to that level. It gives you power. It gives you attention. You need it all the days of your life. In fact, the God who created you is a God who loves to speak. My oh my, isn't he good with words? Trust me. So you need to learn how to speak, guys. No excuses. You really need to learn how to speak. And that's why today we'll be talking about the right way to speak and write. The right way to speak and write. And we're talking about career professionals right here. And I've got an amazing person. I call him, the godfather of communications. Trust me. Because, in fact, when I'm going to, when I'm with him, most often I just want to be to ensure that I'm using the right words, I'm using the sentence structures rightly, the right grammar, context and all, and people think it's quite difficult to speak. Well, he'll be telling us today if it's really difficult to speak, if it's really difficult to write, and how we can actually develop it. And a lot we're going to definitely talk about today right here on the Boardroom Convo, because it's all about helping you to become purpose driven again. Imagine if all of a sudden you find yourself developing the art of writing well, speaking well, all of a sudden there's a surge of energy, it just comes from nowhere, helps you to begin to start seeing yourself in a different light. People lose their confidence because they know when they put pen to paper, they really cannot defend what they've written. People lose their confidence because they know when they're handed a microphone, they really don't know exactly if they're going to make sense. But the moment you're beginning to fine-tune these areas, you're going to polish these areas deliberately, consistently, and committedly, trust me guys, it's a matter of time. Your confidence will surge, your hope will rise, and of course you can begin to dream again. Okay, so at this point in time, I definitely want to see how that, we'll do a quick test run with, my guest. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. And I think I can hear you too as well. So, I think we're good to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just go straight to it. And, I definitely need to just bring him on. For those of you that, particularly just need to know exactly who we have right here. Of course, I'm talking about a very, very, amazing person here. Popularly called Faj, okay? And of course enlisted his name in the Nigerian media industry with the forays in editing entertainment pages of the Punch newspapers, defunct Climax magazine between 1988 and 1991. And he quickly rose to become editor and editor-in-chief of Climax, Fame, National Encomium, New Treasure, and Treasure People and Life, consequently between 1991 and 2015. And of course the latter he actually also co-founded as well. A prolific and engaging writer and public commentator, beg your pardon. Of course, he's also credited as the mastermind behind the establishment of four of Nigeria's best-known awards of the 90s. Of course, we're talking about Fame Music Awards, that's FMA. We're talking about the Movie Awards, that's the THEMA. We're talking about the Real Awards, that's the awards of the musical excellence in Nigeria, that's Amen. And of course, he's a graduate of English, from the University of Lagos. He's lectured at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism, and that's actually the very first time I met him. Of course, very, very interesting times during that period. And he led a communication training initiative called the Basic Skills Academy. That was another, period where we actually spent time together too as well. An amazing time of my life, I must confess. And he's also a columnist with These Day newspapers. Now, 3 books bear his name. And now, these books, he'll get to talk to us about, them, and maybe his latest baby too as well, much later. We're talking about a mini autobiography titled Lifelines. It's a slice of my life back in 2011. We have Footprints. There's Interventions in Nigerian Entertainment back in 2011. And then Reflections. This one is quite interesting. And the anthology of thoughts on Nigerian movie industry published in Nigeria. That was exactly this year, 2021. Okay, and he has recently completed the writing of 4 books, 2 memoirs, and 2 in fiction. It's due for release in November 2021. That's this year, so he will let us know about that too as well. We're talking about Miasma, a collection of poems, Demolition Squad, and all the stories of 6 stories and a play. And then, of course, there's one, it's A Dog's Life. This one that caught my attention, My Kirikiri Prison Diary and Other Memories. And it's got another one titled Fame, that's Untold Stories of Its Rise and Fall. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm talking about none other than Femi Akintunde-Johnson joining us live right here on the Convo. Amazing. I'm super excited to have him here. Of course, for the benefit of this, I have the opportunity to call him Faj, even though, he's old enough to be my father. How are you doing today, Faj?
Thank you very much. I'm good.
I'm so excited to have you here. When I got talking to you and I said, I needed to have you on the convo, we needed to, have people listen to you. And you said, yes, go ahead. Even though you told me specifically that let's do virtual. And I said, yes, good news is that it's actually virtual, even though, it's going to be streamed live on radio as well. So here we are. Finally, the day has arrived and we can get this one started. So, give us a background, generally, a little story about yourself, how it all started. Writing, the love for writing, getting involved to study English and all, before we even, begin to start to learn from you.
I studied English studies in the University of Georgia, Southwest State.
Okay.
My journey, the street, started when I was in secondary school in America, for Little Grammar School. Part of the first club. Like most young people, I've always loved writing poetry, stage. I'm leaving secondary school in 1981. I started school quite late. I was an old secondary school student, so to speak. So one of my mates were leaving university. That's when I entered.
Okay.
My mates were entered 1979. Couldn't make it. That's the reason. But I kept on writing. I've been writing and I've been publishing some of my poems. I've come back as 81.
Wow.
It was always an exciting thing. I didn't want to go to school. I just wanted to work in journalism, bigger house. So some of my friends were always, I think they hadn't started 82. They were there from the beginning, looking for how to get it. And I was without any university degree. And then around 81, 82, 83, this day, because of this week, I have this weekly magazine, great writers all over the place, Sonola Lumizwe, Uzi Ladner, Larry Alabi, Taiwo Bay. Those are people who wanted to. I was also a frequent visitor, virtually a daily visitor to National Arts Theatre, because I also wanted to act. And I met a lot of many of these big stars there. Shegun Arinze, Francis Onwotie, Richard, and a couple of Ayomogadi, some of those fellows We're legging it together, so to speak, around the courtyards of the National Arts Theatre and the National Museum.
Wow. Wow.
So that's how it is. Then again, admission. I wanted to read theatre. Someone advised that, but I wanted to read law actually. It's a funny story. Somewhere between author and Umbo, I changed my mind when I saw two or three lawyers struggling to enter the bus with me, and they were tattered, looking terribly looking. And I said, wow, these are lawyers? Wow. I don't think I was listening. Because I was quite vocal, and I was so much interested in government. I had a high score in government in basically the humanities. So someone advised, why don't you study English? You're able to do everything else. You want to do law, you want to do theater, you want to do anything you want to do. So that convinced me, and I put in for English studies. Fortunately, I wanted to be as far away from Lagos as possible.
Okay.
Granted. That's how we started.
Wow. Interesting.
One of our top star pen, the first 2 years of my sojourn in Unigos was the novelist, Olugbenga-wyse. Because he's dead now. He died last year.
Wow.
He had quite a number of novels. He's Ositaike's father.
Oh, okay. All right.
Olugbenga wrote about 6 novels. So he taught us on creative writing, and I fell in love with him and was writing all over again.
Wow.
That's how he has been.
Wow, interesting. We can definitely appreciate the journey so far, how it all started, and where you are right now. And I just want to link that up, particularly to today's world. This is like far back, 40 years and counting. The journey has started for you, and the drive, the hunger, the interest to write, desires, and all of that. And I'm just thinking, so this 40 years counting and more, in this dispensation, this era, where we are right now, the young ones particularly, is writing and speaking well, is it such a big deal? Is it really a big deal?
It is a big deal. You may have a talent, you may have a writing, but it's a skill you have to learn. It takes time. Writing very well, doesn't come naturally. Serious. A lot of work, a lot of fun papers, a lot of wasted pen and all that. It's one of the skills you have to really learn. Whenever we are born with certain elements in language that are increasingly cohabiting with us. The ability to hear instantly. That's why people differentiate between you understand the language or you hear language. You hear all language, you don't understand all.
Absolutely.
So the capacity to hear is equal. Right? The capacity to speak, it might not be intelligible. The capacity to speak is also equal. As you grow older, you begin to speak. Then you begin to speak languages or the tones that are curious to you, that you hear so regularly. So it comes naturally. That's why children, they are fast learners of language. They take around 16 places between the age of 1 and 12, they will learn all the 16 languages.
Absolutely.
Because the capacity to learn is inbuilt. But the other element, which is reading and writing, you have to learn. It's a skill. It's not just a talent. So it's when you see people who suffer from incapacity to deliver or to articulate their thoughts, I don't dismiss them as no hopers, because it's a lot of work. I think they are ready and patient and willing. They can learn to write well. They can learn to speak well. If I tell my students, don't be afraid to sound sticky. Don't be ashamed to sound inaudible or insensible. Don't worry about making sense or not. Just write. Just say something. You can only make the error once.
Absolutely.
When you have a good person correcting you, then you learn.
Absolutely.
The problem is if they keep on correcting and you don't change, then you have a problem. But don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to be in error. That's the essence of learning. So it's a lot of work.
Thank you very much, Fad, for what you just said. That don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to make the errors. The problem is when you don't learn from the errors. I learned yesterday too, when I was sharing, something that is quite profound. That people don't, people are scared of making mistakes because they condemn themselves too fast. So you need to start learning to say, I am not a mistake. It's the process. It's a process that I'm embarking on that has made a mistake. So if you are going through a process of learning how to write and speak, it's a process that you are still trying to fine tune, not you condemning your person to say, I can't speak, I can't write, and of course, failure or mistakes can be a door, but guess what? The ability to learn is knowing how to open that door that transits you to the other side. And that's where people either sit and remain where they are or cross over to the side and get better at what they do. So you very well said, sir. Absolutely. Now we're looking at the corporate world right now today. Of course, job vacancies everywhere, and then people trying to apply, and we hear HR personnels and professionals say things like, it amazes them because most people are not employable. And the employability even starts from the ability to even communicate effectively. Now, how did we get here, and how can we close this gap? The average graduate seems to struggle with knowing how to communicate, either in writing or speaking.
I think we need to look at our models of training and teaching right from the formative age. The preliminary statement that an audio that we played at the beginning of the show,
yes,
encapsulated something very clearly, that when people are told to write, they are not told why they are writing.
Absolutely.
Why this, when you are teaching people language or any subject whatsoever, they not only need to understand what they are reading, they need to know why they are.
Absolutely.
Or else it becomes a rote, it becomes something that you emote, something that comes from your head. For instance, a lot of people do not understand why. Let me give you an example of one of my young reporters. He's not a publisher.
Okay.
His name is popularly called Azuarinze.
Okay.
Azuarinze.
Mm-hmm.
You see, he has gotten used to that and he likes that. But the point is, everyone that hears Azuarinze assumes that Azuarinze is first and Arinze is his surname. But rather, Arinze is his first name. Azuarinze is his surname. In schools, because of formal setting, they will write your surname first. And they don't tell you that you need to put a comma after your surname and then put your name or other name. So, because you say Azu Arinze, it's actually Arinze Azu, but they are saying they're putting the father's name first. So you must tell the child, if your father's name is your father's name, to show that other names are yours, put a comma after your father's name.
Wow.
The next one that comes is your first name. The one after that is your middle name. So all you do is move the two forward when you are talking conversationally.
Wow.
But you don't tell them. So they come out and call himself and he just his own name. And then you have problem with an HR person and say, which one is your own name? So this is some of the basic tiny issues, small details that Yoruba will say, if you want to call them down. These are, crooked rules that despoil the whole ceremony. So we need to interrogate our models of training.
Yeah.
It's not just about sciences and all that, even in the art form. Teach them and let them understand why it is so.
Absolutely.
Why whatever is in subject position must agree with the verb. Irrespective of the modern notion of gender issues and gender sensitivity and all that. Subject must follow verb. If the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. People must know these things from very young age.
Absolutely.
That is why people who are birthed in such things, they may not write well, but they speak so well because those rules of language have been embedded in them.
As they're basic for them.
That's it.
Absolutely. So just like you just said right now, if the reason behind the learning is known, learning becomes easier. And of course, learning sticks. Learning becomes a part of you. And they say that learning does not occur until there is a change in behavior. Information can be gathered, all right, but learning is a process of change in behavior. Learning does not occur until there's a change in behavior. So we have a lot of people within the Nigerian context and where we are that are absolutely loaded with information. They have gathered so much, but they haven't learned. Because when you learn, you will change. You would be able to apply differently. Absolutely. So, and that even tells us exactly how we studied back in school. God help us. We'll get back to things like that, in a bit. So, I mean, so now, what is expected of, the average, corporate person, the young professional out there, Faj? What's expected of them in this day and world?
The thing about structure is a mind thing. To be an excellent person, then you apply excellence in everything that you do, even if it's just to move wheelbarrow from one place to another. You must do it excellently. So it's a choice. What is talk about behavior? After acquiring knowledge, after acquiring information, now how to apply this takes your mindset. I want to do this well.
Absolutely.
Right? If you want to apply to a job, clerical officer, management staff, whatever level, you know that common sense tells you to understudy where you are going. What do they do? What effect? What will be your impact? In what way will it be effective? How do you prepare ahead of time? Now, projecting yourself, what you write is the signboard of your attitude and your philosophy. If you write well and your it is always coming as it is instead of it as a possessive.
Wow.
If you're there, it's always coming as your die. if your where is always coming as your where, as in EA and you interchange and interpolate all these words. It shows you're a slogan. It shows you're a careless person.
Wow.
There are reports you write, your client reads it and knows that you are a very irresponsible person. From the way you have arranged your words, from the careless, you are writing, putting an LOL into your report, you are putting a U or a misu, all those conversationalist kind of a thing, you are what you call colloquialism. You are putting into your formal text. It says you have no regard for order, for protocol, and for hierarchy.
Wow.
And therefore you are going to be a twan or a spoiler. So already they have what they call a disclaimer. Something shows already this is a distemper. This person is going to scatter this whole thing.
A red flag.
This person is going to do this. You can see the red flag from the right.
Absolutely.
So that's why you must let whatever you bring out. I tell my reporter, you don't put your byline in something that you have not read at least 3 times. To make sure it's as error-free as possible. I mean, nobody is infallible. Nobody is above making all these pieces and all that. But you must make it to the barest minimum. Such that when they read you, they see the cleanness of your script and know that you're a clean person. Because your writing reflects your personality.
Absolutely. Your writing reflects your personality. So we can actually see your person, a summary of how you've expressed yourself on paper. Now, the question I'll probably put as a follow-up to that is, can we blame technology, with our negligence and our, should I say sloppiness to writing with the way we have the autocorrect and, writing and using our laptops and our phones? And is there a plus? Well, I know there's a plus and minus to everything, but can we put a blame, on technology, or how can we actually evade that to say, we need to bypass that to become better?
I think we need to blame each person that falls victim to what you think is the problem of technology.
Okay.
I will tell my children or some of my subordinates when I see that if we had what you people have today, you will write more, you will publish more, you will publish more in-depth, more interesting. Greater, though they said what we did was great and interesting, it will have been much greater.
Wow.
Because, I could write something out in longhand. I don't have to make when I was a reporter. I would go travel far and wide, do an interview, then take what they call off court and transcribe into like 60 pages. Then after transcribing, I will now write it into feature form, which is another 8 pages, and then I will write news from it. And that's all I have to do. That's just for 3 days because other assignments are waiting.
Wow.
Now all I have to do is I can send you a VM, transpose it and use an OCR, convert it into text, and it will be done in 2-3 hours. What I used to spend 3 days doing.
Absolutely.
So technology is a great savior.
Okay.
But if you are on serious person, something that helps serious people will not make you serious. If you have no shame, the fact that something shameless is coming will not have an impact on you. So it's a matter of fact.
Wow.
Sometimes I write and this spell checker will turn the words and all that, or will insist because I insist. I was trained in the British English, and most of what we have technology is American English. So absolutely. I go around correcting the ones I want to correct. I'll be changing all the organization from Z to S. All the everything that has the Z that the Americans have changed, I will revert it, and it keeps on giving me a red line. This is right. So yes, it's there. Don't worry. I'm always fighting with Germany. You can't change this. You can't say how now. Must not have a U. My other has a U. You can't say color. Should not have a U. Forget it. This one must have a U.
Fad, you're busting my brain here, honestly.
So you have to challenge the environment. You have to you don't succumb to an easy fixy thing because it makes it easier.
Wow.
When the thing does its autocorrect, I'll go back and check. Sometimes it may escape. I'm so pained when I see error. Whatever, I'm so pained because I have no patience for error reading. I can't read anything that has 1, 2, 3. By the 5th, 6th one, I'm off.
Wow.
I will read again. I can't communicate. When I mark papers when I was lecturing, I would tell them, remember the question. We took time to write this thing. I remember the question. If it says remark, it's not from explain. If it says explain, it's not from argue. Every word that is spoken. So don't go and write. Then, whatever you don't remember what you have write with me. I will give you marks for logic, for correcting syntax, and for clarity. You have them, even if you fail in others, you will still get 5 over 20 instead of getting 0. So if you are sensitive to words and the power in words, you can be dislocated by badly written report.
Great, absolutely. Well, you just said it just the way Jordan Peterson in that little excerpt that I played earlier said that, when there is a badly written article, it even makes it so difficult for you to actually even try to market. And then for technology, it's such a good thing, but it only exposes more of your strength, if that is your strength, and exposes more of your weaknesses if you're more of the weakness, should I say, expressive type of writer. So that's it. It just exposes you. That's what it does. That's what technology has done for us. Now, is there a battle and a tussle? This is just an aside. Is there a battle and tussle in trying to express myself, whether, verbally or, in written form when it comes to American and British English? Where is the whole, tussle? What's the whole, argument?
It's essentially the Americans hands-on kind of person. Why do you say tire as T-Y-R-E? When you can just write the T-I-R-E. They don't understand why do you need center that should be T-A. Why should it be T-R-E? They don't understand why rendezvous to have a Z before V and then O-U-S. Why don't you just put the V alone? So they are a very straightforward kind of person. But you see, we were built on British English. We were made on British English. So we need to always remember. I mean, there's a lot of laxity even in the newsroom with the language. I mean, people write, after all right. Some of these words, bad use of English. What in Americanese, it's okay.
Yeah.
All together, all sorts of words that we would never use while growing up. So because language, essentially, communication is about understanding and relating with the next person. So if 100 people speak Americanese or write Americanese and they all understand, communication has taken place. No problem about that.
Absolutely.
It's just some of us are sensitive to these words.
Okay.
So we want to write it the way we have learned. And if we still can communicate, you know that practice and practice, they are different words. Practice is the verb. Practice is the noun. Now, Americans don't understand why there is a difference. So when they want to verbalize, when they want to turn their verb into gerund, that means into an action, I mean to an ongoing action, they put an ing, but it's a C-I-N-G. But in British English, it's S-I-N-G. You can't make anything C and put an I-N, apart from icing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Americans grow up, they said ice cream until lately, etymologically at least is now. You can't say ice cream. It has to be ice cream. But now it's allowed and permissible to say ice cream without any D. So the language is dynamic also. We understand that.
Yeah.
There are changes, there are morphological movement in words. For instance, they will show you n graphic of 1 million usage of the word, let's say macabre. You know, macabre. And they say macabre, 985,000 people are using macabre as B-E-R. Now, only 15 people are using the original word, which is B-R-E.
Wow.
Therefore, because communication is about a large number of people understanding each other, therefore, B-E-R as macabre is okay, it's permissible.
Yeah.
I won't quarrel with you, but when I want to write, I write B-R-E. You know? But language is dynamic, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know? So there's no tug of war when you understand the difference. It is when you don't understand the difference and start mixing. In one line of it, you put T-Y-R-E. In another line, you put T-I-R-E. Then you have mixed communication.
Absolutely.
You are confusing yourself. So stick to what you know and you understand. Make sure you are communicating.
Okay, fantastic. Stick to what you know and make sure you are communicating as well. All right, so I know that you very much have done, various trainings in terms of the basic skills, academy trainings, different cohorts, and all of that, just to help people, communicate rightly, like speak and write well. Because there's a right way to speak, there's a right way to write, and all of that. So I'm just going to probably just ask you a few, like, should I say, take us on a journey of, what common mistakes, we make as, corporate professionals, like, young professionals. What are those common mistakes?
Okay, usually we have done this in several of our things. The major issue is about typos.
Okay.
Poor punctuation. Typos, that means typographical error. It's not as if you don't know that the past tense of is worse. Right? But you write your words and you end up seeing O in the middle. And it sounds, there's also what we call tyranny of mother tongue.
Yeah.
Because some people learn the language of their mother or father.
Yes, absolutely.
And then learn English as a second language. So they normally will think in their native language.
Yep.
Right? So if you think in Yoruba and then speak or write English later, sometimes there will be
interference,
Yeah, interference. So that's what we call mother tongue interference. So sometimes you write English as if you're writing Yoruba. So you see, one day, let me give you an example. I was in class, I think it was in secondary school, and I have a friend called Said. Said is S-A-I-D.
Okay.
And I was in class writing a text. And I wanted to write, he said. And I was like, wow, that's Said now. I was talking for like 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
That's Said. That can be, where he said. I troubled myself for 4 or 5 minutes trying to identify. I mean, this is someone who was in love with language.
Yeah, I know.
So it can happen to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be careful. Avoid careless mistakes at all costs. Whatever it is. Check your typos because they reflect your personality. When you have a poor punctuation is a major problem for a lot of people.
Okay.
First of all, because we are what I might call hyperbolic people. We like using a lot of adjectives.
Yeah.
We like using big words. Even if it is not in words, in thoughts. We repeat ourselves a lot, what we call tautology. We repeat ourselves a lot. So sometimes we don't know when to put this punctuation mark, or we overdo it, what we call comma splice. We write too many commas. Now, of course, grammatical errors. It's important that you don't, when we're going, we call it bangam. Don't do bangam. You're writing an application letter and you'll have 4 bangams in your letter. You have already lost it.
Wow.
The guy is going the man is going to look at the letter, the woman is going to look at the letter and say, you don't want this, because you're going to embarrass them. So it's important that we take. It's difficult sometimes to put it. This is someone else. Anything you are putting out, anything that represents your name or your department,
Wow.
do your best. Now you check and check, ask a colleague and all that to spot errors, because we have just 2 pairs, just a pair of eyes. Sometimes in advanced class when we do proofreading and everything, there are hundreds of ways to do proofreading that will blow your mind out, but it takes time. So on your own small level, read and read. Okay.
Right.
Another problem is words that you use. We use too much words, or we use what we call buzzwords.
Okay.
You know, in what we say, we call it journalism. There are words we say that we use. He allegedly said, he reportedly said, he claimed anonymity. He wants to be quoted. You know, we have all our journalism. So also they have management speak. When you write amongst yourself, you can use all kind of buzzwords you like. But when you write for others, don't assume they understand. Don't write OMG in your report and say what you use it. No, you can't use slang. You can't use a slang word in formal report. We always believe that our clients don't like us explaining things. So explain in a way that is dramatic, that is refreshing. Use fresh words to say old things. It will catch, you know, but don't use words that have become archaic, that are common. You know, it's refreshing when you use words that captures the moment in a different manner. So, wow. When your reader says wow, you have got it. You have got it. Then most times people don't write with the recipients in mind. Before you write, think about what you want. What is expecting from you? The kind of details you want. What is the main message? What do you want to project? In all these things, think of the reader. So that when you have done all that, your outline will reflect the reader consciousness. So that when you read, you're talking to him, even when you're not there. Your full essence is with him or her. You know? Another mistake, apart from long words and all that, I always say less is more. Don't use long words. It's not a sign of intellectualism. It doesn't show that you are very smart. It shows that you are full of yourself. So less is more. Don't use long words or long. Sometimes you confuse yourself when you have too many semicolon joining sentences to make it long. At the end of the day, the main point at the beginning is lost in fancy. So less is more. Don't use complex sentences when you're explaining things. Let it be brief and go to the point. There are a lot of people, because even a technical report, focus on the integrity of the report. Let your language be like connectors, sweet connectors of those things. Don't let your language or your words be rigid or fidget. Don't lose the point. Don't lose the reader. It's important that you don't have complex sentences. Make it simple, straightforward. Then plan your report. Whatever you are doing, let that be a plan. Let that be a structure. everything in life, even if you're writing a novel, there's an intro, there's a body, there's a conclusion. Every report in life has those three elements. There might be there might be some other element and all that, but there must be an opening, an introduction, so there must be the body, and we encapsulate the entirety, then the conclusion. Most times, when those who read script, usually they read the intro and the conclusion. Because the intro tells you what to do in the body, it means you know something. And the conclusion tells you what you have seen in the body, and it's wrapping it up. So if I don't see things in those two things that I ask for, I'm not going to this matter with the body, because people always mess up in the body. That's where they make the most error.
Great.
So have a plan, work a plan, let it make sense. Then it's important that you make an impression. And simple writing is like an impression grabber. If you do a strong introduction, attention of, you started off and you did the gentleman that spoke. He caught my attention. And I said, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. So your introduction must grab an attention. A conclusion must give the man, wow, I need to see this guy later. So many people start their document in the middle, promising themselves that they will write the introduction later. No, you fool yourself. You must encapsulate your thoughts in the introduction before you go to the body. And then, summarize your as quickly as possible in your conclusion. So it's important that you impress. And the two elements that will impress is the introduction and the conclusion. Most people don't read a lot. So, deeply grammar that is in the body, they may not read up to half of it. So we must be careful. We must also be careful of too much text. Most of us are visual. We are visual text. We like to see things graphically. If you see a paper that is cluttered with text, from beginning to, there's no delineation, there's no
white
picture,
lines,
nothing, everything is just brogodo. That's a challenge. Except you like something.
Exactly. The brain probably shuts down.
Okay, I'll read this thing again. I'll come back later. You may never get to read that.
Absolutely.
And then be careful, like I said, be careful of abbreviation. Make sure that you have the general abbreviation. Certain abbreviations and acronyms are acceptable. They are common to everybody. You want to write org. Everybody knows organization. Be careful how you use them. Be careful how you, especially if you are writing to outsiders. Don't worry about if you say CLA is climate change. You better write it out because CLA is only in your environment that you know. So don't abbreviate and assume that we know.
Exactly.
Except the common thing. You know that 4 p.m. You don't have to break it out.
Yes.
You know that 4 p.m. it means it's a green day. So you don't have to break it down. But don't start using words that we have to start checking or asking like these young people will do. They will put LWMP something. So they roll it on the floor and all that. I'll be asking my teacher, what does this call me? You're not communicating. You have to see somebody to clarify it.
Yes.
And a couple more before we round up. Don't be vague. Be clear. Don't say, I mean to say, no, just say it. Don't try to explain it after you have explained. So, what I meant there was, no, don't do that. Just say, go to the point. Quantify your statement wherever possible. Don't make claims like it is widely understood, it is assumed that it's really recognized. No. Say it with statistics with facts.
Wow.
It gives your presentation depth, So, that's one thing I would like to leave for us. You need to remember that words matter.
Okay.
Words matter. You can fail to rouse people or galvanize interest, and you can damage your own reputation or that of the organization and lose business because of the words that you use.
That's right.
Because, a written document is a critical business skill, like I said. It demonstrates expertise and knowledge. It influences decision. It builds new business. And it builds your brand. So for instance, you write, thank you for, I have some examples, I wrote a thank you for your patient. And your patient is like those in hospital. And already, just one word, and you have lost the person.
Absolutely.
You already have lost the person. you want to say, there's a difference between committing murder and having a breakfast. If you say, come, grandma, we want to eat, and you don't put comma, it might end up with want to eat grandma. Instead of come, grandma,
We want to
let us eat. So let us eat, comma, grandma. But when you say let us eat grandma, no comma, that means you are espousing cannibalism. So without the comma in let us eat grandma, come, let us eat grandma, and you leave it like that, it means you want to eat your grandma.
Absolutely.
People may laugh that it's a common. No, you lost someone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we need to be careful.
We need to be careful. I mean, these examples that you have even used and expressed on a lighter note, if we take them into the corporate, setting like you just mentioned, some businesses have lost some big clients to this effect. Some have actually lost their jobs. Some have caused some major legal issues, and it's just with the wrong choice of words or wrong expressions or the wrong context or too much assumptions, and a whole lot more that we need to begin to curtail. We need to tame. We need to begin to actually pay more attention to. We need to begin to actually be more cautious of, and of course apply more caution, too as well. I just love this, absolutely, and I hope a lot of people learn from this. But before we let you go, two things I'd like you to do very quickly. Talk about your new baby. I mean, the book, I don't know. I mean, let me even first say that happy birthday in arrears, and of course you celebrated, 60th in grand style with a new baby. What's this book all about?
With babies, actually.
Okay, babies. Yes, I love that.
Yeah. 4 books. Miasma is a collection of poems. Like you said, some of it like 40 years ago.
Wow.
Up to 2021. About 60 poems in Miasma. Then there's the second book, is a collection of short stories, 6 stories and 1 play. The newest there was probably about what I left. So I've been writing, I've been writing the poems there, I would change them, I would write them. Let me just put them out now.
Yeah.
Before something else happens, So the collection of my short stories over time is a style of a literary form called faction.
Okay.
It's a mix of fact and fiction.
Okay.
So we call it faction.
Okay.
Then the first of the 2 memoirs is about my prison experience. In the course of my work as a journalist, both as a businessman and as a reporter, I've been to about 5 or 6 detention centers, and I've also spent about 8 days in Kirikiri maximum prison.
Wow.
And
wow.
While there, I was collating reports and information about places and all that, and people at tragedies, terrors. You see human beings as friends, human beings as saints, all shapes of humanity in prison, because people are waiting to die.
Wow.
People are on the death row.
Wow.
You see them, the way they think, the way they talk, completely different. You will appreciate the power of God, and the power of man over man, to have and the level of his humanity.
Wow.
So people got there through some careful sinning and some acts of wickedness. So I compiled some of this information and all that, and made some cryptic illustration of them. So that formed the book. It's a Dog's Life. It's a Dog's Life. Usually we say journalists like it's a Dog's Life. That's my experience. And the last one, called Fame, is I don't know where you were then, between 91 and 97.
Okay.
It was the biggest journal in West Africa, if not Africa. It was big, it was huge, it was formed by 3 young people, but we were so steady, so steady. In hindsight now, you will say we messed up big time. So I went through all that mess, so to speak, to teach lessons where others can learn and not fall into the same mess.
The same nest as well.
This route that we have taken, we messed up big time. We could have done it this way, we could have done it that way. So learn from us. Do it this way, do it that way, do it that way. So essentially, I call it unforgettable intakes and lessons, untold stories of faith. So those are the 4 books.
All right.
Just launched this month.
This month. Wow. Well, we used it to celebrate Faj at 60. If you need to get these books, go find them out. Miasma, of course.
Okay, on Amazon.
Okay, on Amazon. Okay, Amazon right now. Miasma, and It's a Dog's Life. And then we have Fame, and what's the 4th one right now?
Third one is the Demolition Squad.
Okay, the Demolition Squad.
Untold stories.
All right. So go find this, search them out. If you have more questions, please do send DMs to @femi.faj. Okay, @femi.faj. Open Instagram right here. Of course, @femi.faj. All right. Just search him out, follow him, and of course, you can hit his DM, ask questions. You can get the books on Amazon too as well. You know, this is a very interesting, should I say, insights to, 4 books that were released on the 60th, and I'm just super proud of him still pushing out even at 60. Tells you that, of course, when you found purpose for a thing, age is but a number. It tells you absolutely that age is but a number when you found purpose for a thing. It's founded over 40 years ago, writing, and never stopped writing, and that is where he's found himself today. We're so excited. Very quickly, how can people be a part of, the Basic Skills Academy? I mean, people want to develop themselves,
Okay.
How do you help people with that?
For the past 18 months, I think we have been virtual. So we are going back to live presentation with the basic skills.
Okay.
In a couple of days, the information will go out.
Okay.
We want to work, incidentally, we want to work with young executives.
Young executives. Wow.
Young executives, yeah.
Fantastic.
What we're talking about, essentially.
You can imagine.
How to get your work environment done, your memo right, report right, and all that. We hope to start that platform. We want to be a hybrid version.
Okay.
Where people can come live and people can come others can come online. From wherever they are. So you can do it simultaneously.
All right.
That will start first Saturday in December.
All right.
Hopefully, some will be out and can resume trying to get people to appreciate their inadequacy.
Fantastic. Young executives start getting ready. You do a lot of reports, a lot of minute writing, a lot of proposal writing, and of course you need this, to be a part of the Basic Skills Academy and learn the art of presentation, the art and the act of it, the science, and of course, should I say the expressions behind it. Yes, everything else probably could be, or should I say the rest could be an offshoot of your skills and abilities, but of course you need to should be an expression of your talents and abilities, but you need to have to develop the skills first, so that everything, of course, can just go hand in hand. I really must say a big thank you to you, Femi Akintunde-Johnson, for this amazing time on radio. And today we've learned a whole lot. I mean, you shared with us, very importantly, the right way to speak and write. We're talking about the essentials for career professionals today. Of course, I'm so blessed. I'm so excited about this. We'll see how we can catch up on any of your books, up on Amazon too as well. And hopefully this won't be, the first or last of getting you on radio with us right here. We'll definitely want to bring you back, because we always need to learn more. And of course, for the numbers, you actually happen to be like the 5th director on the Boardroom Convo here, and that makes me super excited. Thank you very much for gracing us, with your presence. We do appreciate you for your time. God bless you. Have a great evening, and I'll catch you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Are you currently in a place where there is nothing to live for? Do you feel stuck, unsettled, and unhappy about your life? Have you lost all sense of purpose and motivation to live? Well, Miles Monroe once said, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose. Call me the Purpose Doctor. My name is Olugbenga-wyse. Join me on the Boardroom Convo, a personal development program on radio centered on giving you a sense of purpose, hope, and clarity. The Boardroom Convo airs every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. and will be streamed on Instagram Live with amazing thought leaders and industry experts as we discuss personal development, new emerging career paths, becoming a marketable employee, hot skills in demand, job vacancies, business startups, book reviews, and more. Remember, purpose is the why that answers every other why. Let's get purpose driven again and let's talk career, life, and business. The Boardroom Convo. Who's coming on board?